Hello, the Pioneer viewers. How are you doing? I hope you're healthy and well. As the Pioneer team, we are here with you again with our new analysis report on the war. In a moment, we will be reporting on the development regarding the Great Panic that has emerged in Russia in recent days. While the war on the front line is in full swing, on the other hand, the tension in the strategic points behind the front line is not decreasing. The operation carried out by the Ukrainian armed forces have caused great panic in the Russian army because the Russian army cannot fulfill its most important task of defending Russian territory. Recent developments shows that the panic in Russia is increasing. So what are the latest developments regarding the panic in Russia? Let's take a look together. As the Pioneer team, we continue to share our assessments and reports on Russia-Ukraine war. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our daily map reports and reports on the agenda. You can also support me and my hardworking team by using the super thanks button below the videos. Let's start if you are ready, the Pioneer reports. The fighting between the Ukrainian armed forces and the Russian armed forces has now moved far behind the front lines. Every day, the Ukrainian armed forces are resisting Russian attacks on the front line, while at the same time launching attacks on the Russian targets behind the front line. Not so long ago, the Ukrainian armed forces targeted several military airports used by the Russian military. During these attacks, several Russian aircraft were destroyed. It is essential for the continuation of the war that the Russian military recovers these losses. However, it is not possible to compensate for these losses. The sanctions imposed on Russia prevents the Russian military from recovering its losses. Therefore, there is only one thing that Russia can do now, and that is to prevent new losses. But this is not possible either because Ukraine's armed forces have repeatedly managed to refute Russia's claims about its strong defenses. Ukraine's armed forces, which have repeatedly penetrated Russia's borders with missiles and drones and destroyed Russian military targets, are trying to maintain this psychological advantage. It's obvious that more Ukrainian missiles will target Russian territory in order to maintain this advantage. According to reports in recent days, the Ukrainian military added to its frequent missile strikes and hit several points on the Russian Federation's borders with Ukraine. Allegedly, these points were located very close to several military bases of strategic importance of Russia. Therefore, an unpreventable panic has begun in Russia. According to reports, Russia will soon hold a major military exercise. Even the list of personnel who will take part in real events has already been prepared for the exercise. This exercise has only one purpose: to determine the protection potential of the Russian military's air bases in the event of the possible attack. Allegedly, a group of experts who prepare reports for the Kremlin administration recently presented a remarkable report on Russian military airfields in the Kremlin. The statements of Dandin Kim, one of the experts in question, were also reflected in the press. The opinions of the experts in question are as follows. Based on the experience of the Northern Military District, several points can be taken into account. How to protect aircraft from SAM drones, how to protect them, how to provide airfields with the electronic warfare equipment. This rising threat around our borders can no longer be prevented. The leadership needs to be more active and find more precise solutions. At the moment, we don't see any significant efforts. We are in a situation where Russia needs to be more vigilant every day ever than before. Our borders are under threat. We cannot overcome this threat by being more aggressive. We must focus on defense rather than offensives. As is well known, the battles of Avdiivka have now come to an end, and it is undisguised the fact that the Russian army has won. However, even in such a period, the war is not limited to the front line, as can be understood from the statements made about the weaknesses in Russia's defense. We see that Russia is making new preparations in terms of its security policy. Some evidence is needed to ensure the sustainability of this. The Russian people naturally want to see this. The most important evidence is that the missiles and drones launched by the Ukraine don't hit more Russian cities. But this is not the case at the moment. The Ukrainian armed forces are still capable of hitting Russian military targets within the borders of the Russian Federation. The recent missile attack by the Ukrainian armed forces confirms this. According to reports, the Ukrainian armed forces recently carried out a missile attack. This missile strike targeted Russian military installations in and around Belgrade. Although the Russian sources deny it, several local sources admit that some Russian military installations were hit. Of course, Russian air defense systems were also activated during this Ukrainian attack. However, an incident that happened in the past days happened again. Allegedly, a shopping mall was hit during the Russian military's air defense firing. We usually access relevant information through local Russian sources. According to the claims of local Russian sources, a shopping center was shaken by a huge explosion. Moreover, this explosion was caused by missiles fired by the Russian air defense systems. Russian official sources are currently denying this claim. According to them, the shopping center was hit by the Ukrainian armed forces. However, Russian official sources have not yet publicized any information to confirm this claim. This is not the only issue related to the Belgorod. According to the allegations, a new cross-border operation will start in this region in the coming days. It is reported that the Free Russian Legion will also take part in the cross-border operation. According to the allegations, the Free Russian Legion has been preparing for this operation for a long time. As you know, the Legion has been silent for a while. Therefore, it is thought that this silence may be related to the operation. The goal of this operation is to create a threat on the Russian borders and provide relief on the conflict stock on the front line. If the Free Russian Legion carries out this alleged operation, the Ukrainian armed forces will be incredibly relieved, because most of the Russian troops that made progress in Avdiivka are now being shifted to Robotyne. Therefore, the Russian army will have to fight in more areas. Only in this way can we see that the pressure on the Ukrainian armed forces will decrease. Russia is trying to use its advances on the front line to create legitimacy among the Russian people. However, the Russian people are unlikely to react positively to these moves of the Russian administration due to the chaotic situation on the Russian soil. Russian politicians are targeting Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russian Federation. Allegedly, a bloc against Putin may be formed in the upcoming elections. So what do you think? Do you think Russia will be able to secure its borders? Are Russia's moves enough to ensure border security? Or do you think the Free Russian Legion will organize a cross-border operation? Let me know in the comments, because I read and I care about all your comments.
Сейчас буде отходить. Парни, туда, на той перекресток.